If you've been trying to keep pace with the AI landscape lately, I think you deserve a medal.
Oh, absolutely. It's a full-time job.
It really is. The stack of sources you shared with us, that whole Retter Reboot collection, it makes one thing just crystal clear. The tech world isn't just moving fast anymore. It's accelerating into pure hyperspace.
Right.
Every single week, it feels like there's a new zero added to a funding round or a new controversy over who actually gets to control the future. So our mission today is to cut through some of that noise and give you a detailed map of this shifting landscape. We're focusing on three things this week. The absolutely colossal money fueling the race.
Which is just staggering.
The products that are embedding AI into your daily life, and then, of course, the rising governance and legal friction that those first two things inevitably create.
Yeah.
Okay, let's unpack this.
And, those three themes are completely interdependent right now. When we analyzed your sources, what stood out immediately was just the intense pressure this scale is generating. Yeah. We're talking about financial valuations that basically redefine frontier tech. We're looking at consumer adoption that forces immediate ethical guardrails. And that dynamic tension between speed and regulation, that's really the story of this deep dive.
Let's start exactly where the sources start. The money. Because, without the capital, there is no AI race.
God, it's a scale.
Right. The sheer magnitude of investment, this intense investor appetite for frontier AI labs, is driving funding rounds that are just resetting historical records.
It's astonishing. We have to begin with Anthropic. The report we saw indicates they're in talks to raise up to an astonishing $10 billion.
$10 billion.
But the number that truly broke the internet was the valuation that went with it. Potential $350 billion.
$350 billion. To put that in perspective for you, that valuation places them firmly among the largest private financings in the history of tech.
In history.
Yeah. And it's not a valuation based on current revenue, which is, it's significant, but nowhere near that level. So what are investors seeing that justifies that staggering number?
I think they're buying the moat. Investors aren't just betting on Anthropic's current models. They are betting heavily on the perception that Anthropic's approach to constitutional AI and safety.
Their safety-first branding.
Exactly. That it provides a fundamentally more defensible intellectual property edge against competitors like OpenAI and Google.
So it's a future-proofing bet.
It's a bet on future regulation. In a world where regulation becomes heavy, perceived safety could be the defining competitive advantage. And that potential advantage is being valued at, nearly $1/3 trillion.
That makes a lot of sense. It's a valuation built on future regulatory certainty, not present market share. But the funding race isn't just about valuations, right? It's about raw physical power.
Precisely. And for that, look at Elon Musk's AI startup, xAI. They also closed a massive funding round this week, a $20 billion round.
$20 billion?
And the sources were very specific about where that money is going. It's earmarked almost exclusively for large-scale compute expansion, model training, and infrastructure growth.
And when you hear compute expansion, you shouldn't just be thinking of generic server farms. We're talking about securing the most specialized, hardest to get resources on the planet.
Exactly. $20 billion is the cost of entry for the biggest game in town. It's the price of securing the thousands upon thousands of highly specialized chips, the H100s or whatever the next generation is, that are the true currency of this AI race.
So that investment ensures xAI can keep pace, or at least try to, with the massive capabilities of Google and Microsoft-backed OpenAI.
Right.
So, okay, we have all this money flowing to the challenger labs, which then accelerates the pressure on the current leaders. This brings us right to OpenAI. If these competitors are raising billions, OpenAI needs durable revenue, and they need it fast. The sources suggest they're really accelerating their push to monetize ChatGPT.
They absolutely are.
Yeah.
The reporting indicates OpenAI is exploring ad formats to build a sustainable business model. But the why is the really fascinating part.
Which is it?
It's the intense competitive pressure from Google, who is integrating AI deeply into search and its entire ad ecosystem.
Hey, wait a second. Relying on an ad model, which is, that's Google's core strength. That sounds like a guaranteed second-place strategy.
It could be.
Is that truly a sustainable path for a company that needs billions for compute, or is this just, a stopgap?
It raises a profound question about their identity. OpenAI needs revenue to fund the next generation of models, but if they pivot too hard into ad monetization, they end up fighting Google on Google's home turf.
A battle they can't win.
Not easily. Google has spent 2 decades defining digital advertising. So OpenAI's challenge is figuring out how to build revenue streams that scale to their compute needs without sacrificing that premium, cutting-edge feel that sets them apart. Their success really depends on creating an ad format that's uniquely AI native, not just a carbon copy of what search ads already are.
Wow. If those financial numbers don't show you the new battleground, I honestly don't know what does. So that's the financial angle locked down. But for you, the listener, capital only matters when it translates to practical change. So where are we seeing this AI tsunami hitting our actual workflows and our daily habits?
Well, we've moved far past the novelty phase.
Right.
AI is integrating directly into core consumer services. It's becoming an assumed layer of function, not just a gimmick you play with.
And sometimes that consumer demand hits a terrifying scale before the companies are even ready for it. I was truly stopped in my tracks by the user statistic about health queries on ChatGPT.
It's a number that creates regulatory pressure overnight.
Get this. 230 million users are asking ChatGPT medical or health questions every single week.
230 million. It's a staggering level of real-world use for something that has, well, no regulatory framework supporting it.
That's approaching the population of Brazil seeking health advice from a chatbot every single week. It just highlights this enormous crisis of trust and accuracy.
It does. And OpenAI's response was to introduce ChatGPT Health. It's an initiative aimed at improving accuracy, clarity, and safety.
Trying to get ahead of it.
They're trying to meet this demand responsibly, knowing the stakes are literally life and death. And crucially, they are rightly stopping short of offering medical diagnoses. This whole situation just shows how quickly ethics and responsible design have to evolve when consumer adoption hits this level of urgency.
So while OpenAI is reacting to these, urgent consumer demands, Google is busy trying to dominate the workflow space. They're making sure their new AI platform, Gemini, is inescapable if you live in their ecosystem.
That's the classic Google strategy.
Yeah.
Integrate into the muscle memory.
Right.
The sources tell us that Gmail is officially entering the Gemini era. And this goes way beyond just a help me write an email button.
What are we talking about?
We're talking integrated AI assistants for writing sophisticated drafts, summarizing those ridiculously long threads, the ones that make your eyes glaze over.
Oh, I know them well.
Managing your inbox tasks, and even providing contextual follow-ups.
That sounds great in a press release, but how much friction is there? I mean, how do you get users to adopt a completely new muscle memory for their inbox? We're talking about systems we've used for decades.
And that's the challenge. But Google's strategy is to position email as a smarter, more proactive productivity surface. They want Gemini to feel less like a tool you open and more like an invisible assistant that's anticipating your needs.
Making it feel mandatory.
Exactly. Mandatory if you want to keep pace with colleagues who are using it. It's a battle for the default productivity status.
And that proactive shift is also driving dedicated assistants to kind of leave their hardware behind. Amazon's repositioning Alexa to compete in this general AI assistant space, moving away from just being the voice tied to the Echo device in your living room.
They realized the constraint of dedicated hardware was a competitive weakness. So Amazon launched a web-based version of Alexa and a completely revamped mobile app.
So you can use it anywhere.
Anywhere.
Yeah.
It makes the assistant accessible through browsers, through your smartphone. It repositions Alexa as a general-purpose AI assistant, breaking its dependence on the Echo ecosystem and just pushing for maximum device reach.
And speaking of maximum device reach, this is where the hardware manufacturers come in to lock in the platform wars.
Yep.
Here's where it gets really interesting.
It truly is. The competitive push to make specific AI platforms the default. It happens right on the device.
Yeah, I'm a metal.
Right. Sources report Samsung's ambitious plan to double the number of mobile devices running Google's Gemini AI to 800 million units in 2026.
800 million devices.
Right.
That figure is the entire strategy. It's not just about selling phones anymore.
No.
It's about making sure that the moment a user turns on that device, their default AI experience, their entry point to all of this generative capability is Gemini. It just locks out competitors like Apple, Microsoft, or Meta from the very start.
It transforms the mobile device from a mere conduit into an embedded AI delivery platform. That's how the AI race is won, by making your model the invisible standard, integrated into the hands of a massive global user base from day one.
That scale, 800 million devices, billions in funding, millions of weekly health queries, that naturally generates immense friction.
Of course.
When development moves this fast, governance, ethics, and even corporate mission they inevitably lag behind. And your Retter Reboot sources this week highlight some incredibly high-profile flashpoints.
I'd say so. The biggest headline in terms of legal friction involves one of the founding figures of the entire movement, targeting the very company he helped create.
That's right. Elon Musk has filed a high-stakes lawsuit against OpenAI. The core of his complaint alleges that the company strayed fundamentally from its original nonprofit mission.
And its commitment to openness.
Right, and its commitments related to openness and public benefit. It's really an ideological fight that's just masquerading as a legal one.
It is. It challenges the very structure of advanced AI development. Musk's argument centers on their shift toward a commercial, heavily capitalized structure, and of course its very close partnership with Microsoft.
He's alleging that they prioritized profit and that partnership over the public benefit that was foundational to its open identity.
It's a very, very public fight over the fundamental commercial trajectory of advanced AI.
And while that's sort of an internal structural fight, there are also massive external economic and ethical challenges emerging, particularly around the future of labor. We saw NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang offer a very provocative framing of the issue.
He did. He used the metaphor of AI immigrants, arguing that these AI-powered systems and robots can address global labor shortages by taking on work that humans increasingly choose not to do.
That's a highly charged term. It appears to be an attempt to reframe the debate from replacement to augmentation in high labor demand sectors.
Like manufacturing, construction,
Yeah.
or elder care, yeah.
Exactly.
And Huang is linking the advances in large language models to the physical reality of robotics and simulation hardware. The point is to position this whole technological shift not as an inevitable threat to human jobs, but as a necessary complement, a solution to real economic pressures like declining birth rates and aging populations in industrialized economies.
But the friction isn't just philosophical or about the future workforce. It's immediate and it's commercial. It's forcing companies to address issues of autonomy and liability today. Amazon's AI agents are already running into real-world issues with their retailers.
And this is the commercial fairness question. Amazon's AI agents are drawing criticism because they reportedly listed or surfaced products without the seller's knowledge or explicit consent.
Wait, hold on. So the AI decided to list something the retailer hadn't authorized. That's a fundamental breakdown of commercial trust.
It is, and it raises huge immediate concerns about control, accuracy, and autonomy. As these AI agents become autonomous in commerce, able to transact, list, potentially negotiate platforms, and retailers are immediately forced to renegotiate boundaries.
Right. If an AI agent acts on your behalf without your explicit approval, who's liable?
That's the question. And it foreshadows a very complex future where legal responsibility for autonomous commercial decisions has not yet been defined.
Finally, we see how this entire rapid development is being viewed through a deeply complicated geopolitical lens, turning what would be routine business deals into subjects of national security.
You don't have to look any further than Meta's acquisition of the AI startup Manus. Our sources reveal a stark contrast in global reaction.
So in Washington,
The deal sparked intense scrutiny over national security, data control, and the concentration of AI power in a few mega corporations like Meta.
but the sources noted that in Beijing, the very same deal was viewed through an entirely different lens.
Completely different. Beijing viewed the deal more favorably. They saw it as a validation of Chinese AI talent and global competitiveness.
So the same transaction is generating fear and scrutiny over concentrated power in one capital.
Celebration and confidence in another. It just shows that AI is now, without a doubt, the most critical piece of geopolitical infrastructure. We connect all these dots. The central tension of this week's news is it's undeniable. The colossal financial commitment and the widespread product adoption are simultaneously creating intense legal, ethical, and geopolitical stress points. The knowledge and the commercialization are simply moving faster than the governance can possibly keep up.
And you can anchor this reality with the core numbers we've discussed. $350 billion is the rumored Anthropic valuation, which signals the magnitude of investor belief.
Right.
230 million people a week are already asking ChatGPT health questions. That shows you the adoption rate. And 800 million devices will run Gemini by 2026, marking the platform or ground zero. These metrics really show the scale, the stakes, and the immediate relevance for you. As the world rushes to integrate this technology, these high-level questions about control and philosophy are instantly becoming business issues, legal disputes, and geopolitical flashpoints. The race for dominance is now driving the global political agenda.
Absolutely. The tension between the need for massive funding, exemplified by OpenAI's pivot from its nonprofit mission, And the conflicting perspectives on deals like Meta's acquisition of Manus, where one nation sees a threat and the other sees validation, it raises a core issue about the future of global technology sharing.
Which brings us to our final thought for you to mull over. Given that the financial commitment and the competitive pressure are only escalating, how long can the global AI race continue at this breakneck, isolated pace before international cooperation or stark formal separation of technological ecosystems becomes absolutely inevitable?